What's this? A letter for me.
Welcome to another episode of Remember the Greats Through the Mail Thursdays. I have 3 envelopes here, all postmarked from Carolinas. So I got a feeling that most of these are going to be NASCAR related. So let me just rip right into these and we'll see what we got. Alright, so this first one is a success from Jimmy Means, former NASCAR driver and owner, current owner I should say, of Means Racing. And he signed 1, 2, and 3, and 4 1990s era racing cards. Again, added another McDonald's to my collection, so very happy to do so there. That I did not have. So Jimmy Means, he is another lifer, I would guess you would call it, in racing, meaning that he started out as a very young driver, spent his time as a driver, then became an owner, and still is involved in the sport to this day. So let's talk a little bit about Jimmy Means. Over his career, spanning 18 years in the NASCAR Cup Series, he appeared as a driver 455 times. His first race was in 1976 at the Daytona 500. His last race was in 1993 at the AC Delco 500. During this stretch that spanned over 18 years, he finished 17 times in the top 10. After his racing career concluded, he became an owner/driver, I guess you would call it. And he continued to, work in that capacity and still does to this day. Also, he is currently an advisor for Front Row Motorsports, which I'm not too familiar with who they are. It's a professional stock car racing team, okay? So he's an advisor for them. So this is, again, somebody that has been in racing for all of his life. More or less. And before he got into NASCAR, he won dozens of late model races in Alabama and Tennessee in the early 1970s on local tracks. So, this is somebody that, grew up in the South, worked his way up to being a professional driver at the highest possible level. Basically starting out in the minor leagues, more or less, and working his way up to becoming a NASCAR legend, more or less. And I want to thank Mr. Means for taking the time to sign these, and I really appreciate it. Alright, so this next one actually appears to have an extra in there, which I have no problem getting a few freebies, that's for sure. And this is this is probably one of the greatest names ever in racing. And when I show it to you, you'll understand why. And this is Mr. Lake Speed. I mean, the guy's name is Speed. I mean, you're born into racing with that name. On 1, 2, 3, and this is kind of unique. It actually has him and his wife on it. And he signed it. I was hoping he'd sign it more down here in the silver part, because that would have looked awesome right there with that metallic silver background. But as you can see, he signed it kind of in a dark part of the card. And I wrote on the envelope, I said, can you get your wife to sign it too? And if you look up there in the top right, you see her first name written there. Now, that could be his handwriting, or he actually did get her to sign it, but unfortunately, because of the darkness of the picture, it just, isn't the best. Again, they would have looked so much better down here at the bottom. And even on the back, if you look at the back of the card, even if they would have signed him on the back, that probably would have been nicer as well. But, you can't complain. I'm happy to get it back. At least it's signed, and it's signed by both of them, I believe. Now, in addition to signing these 4, he also included a postcard in the mix, and it's personalized to me. And on the back, it gives his testimonial. This is one of those cards that talks about, the athlete's relationship with God and Jesus. So, very happy to have that, but a testimonial card is what we'll call that. And I also want to take a step back really quick and talk about these two cards up at the top. If you're noticing them in some of my upcoming videos, I picked up a grab bag of NASCAR cards, or racing cards I should say, a little while back, and these are the cards that used to come with the car, the model sized card that came with them. I did not get the cars, but I did get the cards in this miscellaneous lot. And I'm going to have to maybe put that at the end of the video or up here in the corner, because it was kind of a fun time opening that hodgepodge of racing cards, and I actually pulled like 3 or 4 autographs out of that, if I recall. So if you get a chance, check out that video as well. You might enjoy it. Lake Speed. So Speed grew up in Jackson, Mississippi, and his father actually was the mayor of Jackson, Mississippi, which is the capital of Mississippi. His career in motorsports actually started out in karts, racing, in the kart series. And he became so successful, as a karting champion. He was a 6-time champion in the karting division, in world karting, that he changed his racing to racing in NASCAR only a couple years later. His first race in NASCAR was in 1980 at the Western 500 in Riverside. His career would last 18 years or 19 years in NASCAR, with his final race being in 1998. He would appear in over 400 races over this career in NASCAR. So it took him a little while to get his first win. He finished in 75 top 10s, throughout, or 78 top 10s throughout his career, but his first win didn't come until year 8 of his professional career, and that was at the 1988 Trans-South 500 in Darlington. After his retirement from NASCAR, he was recognized by the International Kart Federation, and they established the Lake Speed Achievement of Excellent Karting Award in honor of the 1978 champ. According to his Wikipedia page, he still dabbles in racing in the World Karting Association. I, again, don't know much about racing, but apparently he still, to this day, is still racing in the Kart Association. So I cannot confirm that, because I've never been to a karting association event. And, I think that's still pretty cool that his love for racing is still there, even at 71 years old. On July 30th, 2010, Speed was inducted into the Mississippi State Sports Hall of Fame. That's the Hall of Fame, in the state of Mississippi. So I want to thank Mr. Speed for, taking the time to, sign all 4 of these cards for me, and also including that extra freebie. I want to also thank, his wife Rice for also signing for me. Like I said, unfortunately, it's kind of a dark photo, but they are indeed signed, and I cannot confirm that Rice actually signed that or just Lake wrote Rice's name up there. But thank you very much, and I appreciate everything that you've done. Okay, this next one is a pretty big name, and I think a lot of people will like this one. And this, let me adjust my sign there, is Mr. Bill Elliott on 1, 2, and 3. And again, 2 more McDonald's for my set. And unfortunately, this one depicts Dale Earnhardt Sr., so I will not be able to complete this card ever unless I happen to find a single signed senior one somewhere. However, Mark Martin, I definitely will try to track him down and get him to sign it maybe in the future as well. So Bill Elliott, this is a pretty big name, when it comes to the world of NASCAR. A lot of people know the big names, but this guy gained the nickname $1 Million Bill for a reason. It wasn't because of he lost a lot of races. It's because he won a lot of. Some of his career achievements are being the 1988 Winston Cup Series champ, the 1985 and 87 Daytona 500 winner, the 2002 Brickyard 400 winner, the 85, 88, and 94 Southern 500 winner, the 1985 Winston 500 winner, and the 86 Winston winner. Also named to one of the 50 greatest drivers in 1998 in NASCAR. I'm going to have to pull that list up sometime because, you know, that would be an achievement trying to get all 50 of those drivers' autographs. And I know probably a lot of them have passed away, but there are autographs out there, I'm sure, that you could probably track down to try to get the NASCAR's 50 greatest drivers. That would be an accomplishment. So I'll have to take a look at that list and see how many on that list I actually have some autographs from. So 16 times he won the most popular driver award in the Winston Cup Series. He's in the Motorsports Hall of Fame, and he is, of course, inducted into the NASCAR Hall of Fame in 2015. So over his almost 40-year career, he had almost 900 races to his name. His most recent race was in 2018, and I would assume he's retired now. I mean, you never know if, you know, he's semi-retired or actually retired. His first race dates back to the 1976 Carolina 500. His first win was in 1983 at the Winston Western in Riverside. So some of the most notable things about his career, aside from winning the Daytona and, you know, some of the other things I've mentioned, he also holds the track record for the fastest qualifying speed at Talladega at 212.809 miles per hour, and at Daytona at 210 miles per hour. So he still holds those records to this day. He is the father of Chase Elliott. Many of you that follow NASCAR know who Chase Elliott is. This is his father, and probably has a very bright future ahead of him, just like his father. So, in closing, I want to thank Mr. Elliott for signing these. I want to thank Mr. Means as well, and I want to thank Mr. Speed and his wife Rice, Mrs. Speed, I should say, for signing as well. And in closing, thank you again, Mr. Speed, for throwing in the extra freebie. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Very happy to add some more NASCAR drivers to my collection, especially adding a couple McDonald's cards that I did not already have signed. Thanks for tuning in. I look forward to your comments below.